We are in a class right now called BOLD, which stands for Business Objective Life by Design. So, boy, we could talk about this for an hour.
It's a 7-week course.
Right. It's a 7-week course. The whole thing is to get you out of your comfort zone to be able to live your life by design instead of by default, is what they say. So what they're saying, right, we're saying is you can do whatever you want to do if you think the way you can think, you're supposed to think, or if you think in a way that empowers you to do so. So we're wearing the bracelets right now. In fact, whenever you have a negative thought, you're either supposed to flip it inside out or put it on your other wrist. Either one, I think, and I have been switching them back and forth with the wrists, and my wrists, this barely fits me. It's like cutting off blood a little bit. Yours looks like a hula hoop around your extremely attractive feminine wrist.
Oh, attractive wrist. Thank you.
You have great appendages. You do.
We're not in the love section yet.
You have great arms and legs. There's nothing wrong with saying that.
I have great appendages.
It may not be the most romantic way to say it. I know.
You stole my heart. Butterflies. Watch out, world. Here come my appendages.
Okay. All right. I get it. Okay. All right. It was just, I didn't know what to say. So a couple things about this, though. They definitely take you out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Cristen was the first person, the instructor. His name is Michael Flores. He's a former Marine, so we get along. He asked somebody to stand up and read a passage and read their thoughts on it. And Cristen stood up, and he dug in with her. You're nervous thinking about it, aren't you?
I am nervous thinking about it because, so it was what Dianna Kokoszka wrote, I believe, her journaling. And, when you share something, when someone asks you to stand up and share which part of this passage you relate to, and mind you, everyone in the room, there are colleagues, so to say. So it is other team leaders that support market centers, and it's agents, and it's team leaders of small, teams, real estate teams. And when I say small, I just mean smaller than the team leader role. We're supporting entire offices, 260, 200, 150 employees, not employees, rephrase, independent contractors. Y'all are not employees, you're business owners, entrepreneurs. That's nerve-wracking. If I'm in a room with a bunch of other team leaders and not agents, entrepreneurs, it would have been one thing. But I see these people every day, right? And I'm supposed to be like a leader, and I'm on the leadership team, and I'm supposed to be setting an example. And so I was so nervous to be vulnerable. So then I do it, and he asks all these questions. And that's where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be sick.
Yeah, to give an example, he'll say, what are your goals? What were your goals this year? Are you on pace to hit them? And let's say
he just says it just like that.
Yeah, and you say no. Say, why did you fail? What's keeping you from succeeding?
Yeah, great questions.
What could you do tomorrow that would enable your success? Why do you feel like a failure? And you're in front of all these people, and someone's asking you, why do you feel like a failure? Are you willing to fail tomorrow? Like all these things, these deep actually, and they're not yes or no questions either. It's like, tell me about how you feel when you fail. Like it's deep questions. You watch him work with people, and it's all about breaking out of this comfort zone. It's my last coach, Gary, used to say it. It's the comfortable discomfort. It's you don't like the fact that you are not where you want to be, but you're comfortable with the fact that you're there. It's just like, you know what? I'm comfortably uncomfortable. At least I know what this feels like, so I don't want to try something else because what if it gets worse?
Yeah.
And this place and this class just breaks you through it. So we'll keep you updated on how we're going. But I would suggest if you're someone who, especially in the sales world, says, I need to break through, check out BOLD. I don't know if I'm right here, but I think anyone can go.
Absolutely, anyone can go. Yeah.
You can go from any industry. You can go.
Sure can.
So then check out BOLD. Keller Williams BOLD, I think is or boldmapscoaching.com. I'm not even sure what the website
just Google, capital BOLD, and then Keller Williams Maps. And when we say maps, it's just like a map that you would look at to drive somewhere, and it will show up.
I think that stands for Mega Agent Productivity something. I don't know if I should know that. But so check it out. Look it up. I'm going to say so far very much worth it. We've really enjoyed it.
And I have to say, the reason why I was comfortable, no, not comfortable, let me think of a different way. The reason why I chose to stand up and share my piece at the beginning, which was so nerve-wracking, because I knew I wouldn't just be able to share. I knew Michael was going to make this a teaching moment in front of a room of how many? 70 people? Mm-hmm. Oh. And so it's like I can stand up and ask a presenter a question in a room of 10,000, but you stand up and you share a vulnerable moment of why you connected to something that is deep. And then you're going to be asked about it. That's scary. But the reason why I did it is because on episode 4 of the Cristen and Jeff show, we talked about being wimpy. And so that's why I chose to do it, because while the word wimpy to me makes me feel like it's not very nice, I know it's a saying and I get why we say it, but I didn't want to be wimpy, and I chose to share that and embrace failure. If people didn't respond the way that I would hope, if people weren't positive about it, I was okay with failing forward in that. I felt like I needed to share it. So it was a great feeling to embrace what we talked about in episode 4. So thank you for that.
Well, no, I like that a lot. I'm glad that you thought that way. And let me say, you have permission at any time to help me, to ask me if I'm being wimpy. Mm-hmm. And that's different to me than if you say, Jeff, you're a wimp. You know that would make me mad.
Right. But if I said, are we being wimpy, or are we like embracing that we could fail?
Or even if you said, Jeff, I think you're being wimpy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like it, but I know what you were saying. Because
Sure.
you would never insult me that way anyway, but to call me a wimp, but to say wimpy, is fair. It's a fair thing. I think in telling your partner it's okay to just challenge you, and then being you shouldn't say it, you got to say it to, when not to be a jerk.
Right.
But saying, you don't want to go you said you were going to go to the gym this morning, and then you woke up and you're not going to the gym. Are you being wimpy, or do you really not want to go to the gym?
I was pretty wimpy last night and this morning.
No, you weren't.
No gym activity.
You had a screaming migraine.
Embracing wimpy.
No, you were not wimpy at all. She was working 9 o'clock last night. That is not wimpy. So bold, awesome thing.
Yes.
Okay, moving on again. Then we go yesterday to the Cultural Summit, which is our region. And, I'm not going to be able to pronounce his name. Can you pronounce the last name?
Oh, gosh, no.
It's so...
Is it Santonastasso?
All right. Well,
sorry, Nick.
Yeah, sorry, Nick, because it's just such a long name.
You know what, Nick? To help us say your last name, you should probably be a special guest on our show.
Oh, I like that. There were a couple motivational speakers. One of them was Nick, and I will get his name right. But you've seen him. He was born with Hanhart syndrome, Hanhart. He has no legs, and one arm with it's a normal sized arm, but he only has one finger. He's 21 years old. When Vine came out, Vine was, I think, eventually purchased by Twitter or made into Instagram, one of those things. Hundreds of thousands of, I think, 400,000 followers on Instagram. He went he's someone with no legs and one arm and lots of excuses that he could have used. Instead, he is a motivational speaker at 21 years old. He has a clothing line, which we bought shirts. He's met The Rock. He's met people on the set of Walking Dead. He has all these stories. Yeah. His energy and positivity are amazing. And so... Yeah, go ahead.
He's incredible. I was pulling up on my phone. I forgot I was in airplane mode, but I was going to pull it up to show you his Instagram. Check it out. It's his full name. His last name, so it's Santonastasso.
Santonastasso.
So
that's the name. Nick Santonastasso.
It's a long. So what's interesting too, we tagged him in a picture that we got with him yesterday, and I just wrote Nick Sant, like Sant, and it brought up the rest because he has so many followers and he's known all over the world. Guys, think about how tired we get. So we went to Texas, a few weeks ago, and just all the effort of packing, getting ourselves ready, getting the family ready, getting there, getting the bags checked, getting on the plane, getting off, and then you start your adventure, right? It's tiring. Like that night, I'm like, I'm kind of exhausted from the day. It's exciting, don't get me wrong, but I'm tired. Imagine doing it with no legs and with one arm. And he's doing it every day. He is flying all over, being an inspirational speaker. And yeah, he said, I'm human. I have moments where I'm like, I'm exhausted as well. But for God's sake, he's doing it. and he has to do it in a way that we're not. So it's unreal.
Oh yeah, go on his Instagram, and just in the last couple days, he's hiking up Alaska.
Yeah,
and in Alaska, in the snow,
mountain climbing in Alaska.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, he was a wrestler on a varsity team in high school. I mean, come on, it's so incredible. And multiple people were like, you know, do you speak to children? Because bullying is such a major concern. I mean, bullying's been around for so long. I know that this is something that was really challenging for me as a child. I was bullied, and we didn't have social media though. So I didn't have to worry about going home and seeing on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat being made fun of. It was just when I got to school, you know? And so now it's so easy for children to speak about each other, be unkind to each other, or feel insecure or upset with who they are. And so Nick is such an inspiration. So he does speak to children. I forgot where he's going to be, but 15,000 children he'll be speaking to.
Ooh,
and gosh, talk about inspiring children that right now they're being bullied maybe for their hair color, or, you know, for their inability to be great at a sport or play an instrument. And he's just going to take all that in. Or
their big
nothing.
ears, their floppy ears that Michael Flores talked. Everyone's got something you can be made fun of.
It's ridiculous. And adults, we do it to each other as well. I mean, there's multiple times that an adult says something and it's hurtful, and but a child is just more influential. They're more easily influenced. And so he's so inspiring. I absolutely love what he had to say. And you mentioned that you'd love for the girls to meet him someday, because he is such an inspiration.
Well, that's what we did. We took a picture with him. You can see it on our Instagram or Facebook page. And then I said, here's the deal. We're going to take a picture with you, and we're going to go back and tell the girls about your story. And then someday, somehow, you're going to meet them. Yeah. And he smiled, and we hugged, and it was just, I know that to be true. Someday, somehow, they will meet him, and I just know that to be true. Yeah. They will find a way.
It's incredible. And to think he's from Jersey, now lives in Florida, so it's just incredible. Really neat.
And he did this exercise with us, a gratitude exercise. I'm actually going to write it right here, because we're going to do it with you next week. And I'll tell you this. He's 21 years old. He's a kid by my standard. I think by anybody's standard. He's a young kid. He told everybody to close their eyes. He did this whole thing with them. He was so calm. He was so confident. And I'm telling you, he had the biggest, toughest dude all the way down to, anybody crying. He had a whole room, and it was an absolutely wonderful experience with him, and that's how we started. And so we'll do it with you next week.
Oh, that'd be great.
And it'll be cool.
Idea.
And it was the thing that I left remembering most. So thank you again, Nick.
Yes.
Can't wait for our girls to meet you sometime soon.